Welcome back. Last time we wrapped up the flight controller and the ESC on the DC3 that we're putting together here, and now we are going to try to get this guy mounted up inside the frame, and hopefully everything goes according to plan. So the next step here is to get the rear standoffs in place, and then we'll do the fronts and try to get our unit in some sort of proper position. And so far everything's going together pretty well. The flight controller, the only thing that I'm not crazy about, flight controller didn't come with 2mm gummies. So it came with one set of gummies and they were 3mm. So some manufacturers, not all of them obviously, ship with 8 sets or 8 gummies, and 2 or 4 of them will be M2s and 4 of them will be M3s. Typical 3-inch quads, typical mind you, by no means set in stone, have 3-inch or M2 screws, not M3. So just keep that in mind for future reference if you ever have any questions about it, because it comes in handy to know which kit to buy before you get started, whether or not you're doing M2 or M3. Sometimes the manufacturers will list the size of the holes or the size of the gummies, but in this case they did not, and I didn't think to look it up before I got started, and frankly I wouldn't have cared either way. It just it's one of those things that if you don't know it, well, it ends up causing you grief. And so just keep your eyes open for that, and everything should go all right. Did I grab? The wrong? Good thing I remembered there was one over there. I am wondering if I accidentally grabbed a short screw for back here. Nope, looks okay. And the nice thing about this is that it's TPU, so it's not impossible to kind of bend it to your will and make it do what you want. So just if something isn't lining up right, chances are you can just sort of wiggle it, give it a little bit of brute force, you know, just enough to make it sort of do what you want. Yeah. All right. So that's set down in there pretty good. Okay. Let's see if we can get a screw in here. Now, get the camera mounted up, and then that should be the end of this build, I think. Once we've got just about everything set, I can go make sure we've got a good beta flight on it, register this air unit, and then it is done. That's the nice thing about these HD air units. Everything is a pen. You know, I don't have to, especially if I'm flying with my DJI controller, you know, you just don't have to worry about a crossfire, you don't have to worry about a VTX, you don't have to worry about soldering up a camera. It's all just one connection. loosen that one. Loosen that one just a tiny bit. I'm going to loosen each one of these about a quarter turn. And then, yep, we're going to have to, and then I think I can squeeze this guy under the plate, and we will have these installed, and then this guy. So this is the air unit connector on this side, and this has what's called a Glark's style plug, and it is slides in just like so, and this has all your lines already wired up. This came with this Icon flight controller, and it's got ground and your battery signal, and then gray and white are your RX and TX. Don't ask me which one's which. You've got your signal ground for S-Bus and your S-Bus line, or HDL, whichever one you're actually using up. And then just kind of route these guys on over and line them up with your flight controller, plug it in. Alright, now I'm going to pull these inside here because the blades are going to be spinning right next to that guy, and I don't want any mishaps. And we should be looking pretty good here. I am just going to try and push this thing down a little bit more, because I think, well, that's probably too far down, but yeah, that ought to be alright. Yeah. See if I can get these in without taking it apart. It looks like I will. Is that the right way? Let's see. Yes. And by right way, I just meant so that I could slide it up in here. Because going on the... Oh, come on. Going on the outside of this would be the wrong way. Okay, here's one. And there is two. Okay, 1 and 2, all set. Kind of force this guy down just a little tiny bit more so that we can get this guy over on top, and slide these guys out between. So again, it's TPU, so just use a little bit of force, and it usually does what you want. And then we just how am I going to run these? Am I going to crisscross them? No. Here's one. Come on. And there is number 2. That's plugged in, and that looks okay. Okay, let's get you snugged up. Give it just a couple turns. Boom. I think we are looking pretty darn good here for having a flyer tonight. Yeah. I gotta say, this is one of the easiest goddamn builds I've done in a long time. Pretty damned easy, if you ask me. So, if you're thinking about going DJI, I gotta say, this was even easier than the HD1. Don't need to step it down or worry about any special voltage regulation or anything else. Good. Got 2 straps on there. Can snug those down. Nice. This guy, one of those 2 will probably do us. And good, we're at 0. So, looking at a dry weight, DC3 dry weight, as it sits right here, 214, give or take. And then with the, this is an 850 Tattoo, not the lightest battery. We're looking at 312. And then with the Lumineer 1000, and it's got an XT60, so I'd have to clip that one, so just keep in mind it's not a perfect comparison. 350 on the nose. So this 850 is probably the right answer. Here's a 450. So if we wanted to try and stay under our limit, that's 257. So not exactly there, but you know, I don't care at all. Alright, so that's it for the build video. After this, we should see a flight test, and then yeah, some flight video. So thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this new sort of style that I'm trying to do. Again, I'm trying to keep these right around half an hour. It's not going to be perfect every time, but I should try and get close. Yeah. Again, thank you for watching. The when I finished up the DC3 and flew it for the first time, I was a little bit, I guess disappointed is the word I'd use. It just didn't have much punch or power. I thought it would perform better, and I got back and I started talking to a couple people, and I found out that the wind dancers, they kind of suck. And I really hadn't played a lot with props on 3-inch. You know, when I built this thing, so I threw a couple different props on there. I think the ones that are on there now are the Azure 3060s, and I got to tell you, the thing flies great. I mean, it's punchy. You can find the video, me doing some prop testing. You can find that video on this channel. So you know, the thing is just, it went from being an okay kind of park flyer to really a performance quad, and I'm really quite pleased with how it turned out now. Yeah, I mean, those brother returners, they don't have, or brother Avengers, I forget what they are. Those 1507s, they've got power to spare, and the 3028 wind dancers, they just don't create enough lift. They don't create, you know, they're just not very taxing on that motor, for one, and so it's not really getting the full potential out of it. It'll spin up just fine, and it'll hover just fine, and it'll fly okay too, but if you want to throw it around or sling it around, like, you know, you really want to feel the performance of it, it's not the right prop. So I'm happy that I figured that out, and got all that straightened out with it, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it. The Acrobat is coming soon, so stay tuned for that build, and we've got a bunch of other quads coming, including my what I'm calling my cheap shit series. We've got 2 plug and play, the M630 GT M630 from Diatone and the Nazgul 5 from iFlight. Both of those are plug and play. We also have the Rotor Riot cheap shit build, and you may have already seen a video out about that. And then the final one we're going to do is a TBS Source 1 cheap shit build of my own design. So I picked out some motors, I picked out a couple of flight controller options, and all under the $200 limit. So we'll fly all those, and then you know, see how that performs. And then after that, the next one is the Shendrone's Heavy Hexacopter. So that's a 7-inch hexacopter with 2806.5 motors. So the thing is a flying chainsaw, and I hope you'll stay tuned for that, and keep watching. All right, thanks again.